Now, Gen V finale.
Yes,
My God in Himmel. You got what you wanted, Hori.
I did.
You said in like the second episode what happens when she's left in a massive field full of blood and she's just got
Yeah.
like all of this opportunity.
She doesn't need to cut herself. She's got all this ammunition essentially.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I got what I thought would happen if she was just like dropped in a war zone. And we got probably one of the cooler scenes of all the fighting when she just fucking creates a flurry of blood daggers
Yeah.
and
That was
just
brutal.
launches them at the guy.
Yeah. So we ended Gen V last week with
Yes.
Kate forcing the Dean to kill herself
Yeah.
while everyone else stood by helplessly because Kate either stopped them from being able to help or they just physically couldn't help.
Yeah.
And we picked straight up from that. It was just everyone still kind of looking disbelief at like,
Yeah.
okay, what the fuck do we do now? It starts with what I thought was a really cool scene of like everyone. Obviously, they've just seen someone like die.
Mm.
It's been a stressful as fuck week for everyone, so their minds are racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And I like the way we kind of fade into the scene with Kate like
Hearing
being
everyone.
overwhelmed by
Yeah.
everyone's thoughts. And like it's one of them things where like we've liked Kate for a lot of this series. And I think we've given her probably more chances than she deserves because we're like, there's definitely a bit of good in there. But
Yeah.
even them few scenes where like you see her powers at full display of like how much she gets bombarded, that's enough to drive anyone crazy.
Yeah. But like I feel like we ended last week where we're like, we can kind of understand how Kate got to this point.
Yeah.
And she's not necessarily like we were with the finish. She's not necessarily a bad person. She like, everyone's got blood on their hands. She was like abused as a child.
Yeah. And then this abuse continued at the hands
Yeah,
of the Dean and stuff.
manipulated. But I do feel in this episode she crossed
Yeah. Yes.
past and into sort of Homelander territory.
She went from I'm gonna kill this person in like a
She
what's it?
fucked with me.
It's like the battered wives defense, isn't it? When like a wife who's been abused by their husband for so long finally snaps and kills them.
Yeah.
If she would have just stopped at the Dean, we'd have been like, yes, killing people obviously isn't okay, but we get it. She was a bad person who manipulated and abused you for years upon years.
Yeah.
But then very quickly she's like, right, let's go free everyone from the woods and kill all of the humans.
Yeah. Anyone that is human that works at the university is evil.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hang on a second.
And then you've got everyone being very close, being very careful not to get touched by Kate, going, well, let's just talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, after the seeds that were sown last episode with Sam getting kind of swept up by a pro Soups rally, he was in the perfect headspace, having just seen someone he knows is bad be killed by someone he's been told is good, saying, right, let's go kill the other bad people. I can see his logic in initially siding with her.
Yes.
At which point Jordan tries to stop them from leaving.
Yeah.
And this might be one of the parts where I was really like, oh, Kate is beyond help. Where Kate goes, you might be able to stop me, Jordan, but do you think you can stop Sam?
It's that, like, in my head, I'm like, Jordan's no, just don't do it. Like, we know Sam can rip people in half, not a care in the world. They were taking his blood and putting it in Golden Boy to try and strengthen him. So we know he's, like, strong as fuck. And it's like, it's not worth the fight. Don't, please don't. And you get Marie's, like, the little shake of the head, like, no, don't do it. Like, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Run it back.
Yeah. So they let them go. It is, like, it's weird, because obviously, like you say, Sam, the seeds were sown last week, and it's kind of like, he's watched this person that he wasn't trusting of, because of what she did to Sam, to Golden Boy, to make him forget about Sam, to then, she's just killed the person that was doing harm to him, and he's like, okay, maybe you are. Like, seeing that to him is like, well, okay, you must be good because you've just got rid of the person that did all the hurt to me,
Yeah.
like pain to me. Sure, I'm going to side with you. I want to get, I want to free the other people. To him, he's like, yeah, I want to free the people that are in the woods. We deserve to be free. And I feel like that's as far as Sam's kind of thinking had gone.
What I think because of the nature of Sam's life and the way he's
Mm,
been treated and also his psychological state, I think he's very much kind of he sees everything as black or white
mm,
and doesn't allow and like there's no room for them shades of grey. And anytime
yeah,
a shade of grey is introduced is when he starts to have a bit of a breakdown and he gets hallucinations because it's all too much for him and he can't really. I mean, he's been in facilities like this for most of his life, so
yeah.
his brain trying to logically assess the pros and
Hmm.
cons of stuff on the fly isn't something he's built to do. So yeah, you're absolutely right. He's very much just a case of I was in the woods. I didn't deserve to be in the woods. No one else deserves to be in the woods.
Hmm.
They were hurting us and beating us and all of us. So I'm going to go free them.
Not really realizing what they might do to innocent people.
Yeah,
Then
it.
we obviously get the three of the others that then all have kind of like their own ideas of what they should do to stop them.
Yeah, we need to get there. We can't let Vought know what's going on because they're just going to come in and cover it all up.
Yeah,
We can't let it go past that because then it'll just be used to hurt more soups.
yeah.
So we need to try and find a way ourselves to get everyone out safely and stop this from going wrong.
But then you've got Jonah's like, well, we'll just call campus security and warn them. And then Emma's like, well, no, because then Sam gets, just because Sam's gone with Kate doesn't mean Sam's like, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah,
And then you've got Marie's like, well, we've got to do something to kind of slow things down. And remember, then they've learned about the panic button, which I said last week that I reckon we'll see some sort of school lockdown, which we got
we did.
later on, but it was only brief. So yeah, they all rush off, and then we go back to Andre, who's in Vought Tower by the looks of
Yeah,
it, with his
and we
dad.
find out something that's been alluded to a number of times, and I
Mm,
can only assume he's going to end up being a big factor in the larger story. But
mm,
there's been a number of situations where people's prolonged use of their powers over their entire life has a negative effect on their body.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, we see it with Kate throughout this entire series. When she uses her powers too much, she gets really bloodshot eyes. She
Yep,
feels weak. She feels faint. And we find out that Polaris has essentially given himself
brain damage.
CTE. Yeah, brain damage. He's now in danger of seizures, which are obviously incredibly dangerous, as we saw
Mm-hmm.
last week, because his powers go haywire. And by using his powers to the degree he has over the years, he's broken down his neural networks and stuff, which has, by the sounds of it, left him partially paralyzed, kind of like a stroke victim, based on kind of what the doctor was saying.
Yeah, or at least very on the edge of becoming that. Like, probably at the state now where if he continued to use his powers, he could end up in like a vegetative state
Yeah.
because he does so much damage. And it goes back to kind of like A Train with his heart. We saw it with
Yeah.
that. He was running too like his heart just couldn't handle the speed at which he was
And
running.
that was made even worse through his abuse of like the
The tempe.
V steroids he was
Yeah.
taking.
We saw
Um,
obviously um Butcher using Temp V is giving himself a brain tumor. And
yeah,
that's part and part like it's a experimental drug, but also probably what like it's just an accelerated effect.
yeah.
Um
Um, and then obviously when finding that out, he then finds out that well, I have the same powers as my dad.
yeah, he asks
So the
Andre the
doctor
same,
starts asking him. He's like, "Andre, are you having lightheadedness? Are you like blacking out? Are you
which
struggling
he
with these things?"
brushes off and then has a little bit of a twitch on his lip. And when we see later his little finger twitches.
Yeah,
So it's like he is clearly
I'm
doing
willing
the
to bet.
same.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet if we go back through the show, we'll spot some of them. With the attention to detail put in these shows.
Mm,
How do we know, like a number of things that happened? Like, I'm sure if we go back to other times he's used his powers, we're going to see afterwards he's got a bit of a twitch or something going
hmm.
on. because
Probably.
like say he was twitching there, but it also didn't feel out of character or obvious, other
No.
than the fact we were now aware of it, which makes me think it was
I
probably been happening all
yeah,
series.
I think it has, and I think we've probably subconsciously just taken it as like a nervous twitch because it's happened in
Yeah,
situations like that, and then now we're realizing, hang on, that's actually probably him messing with, especially over the last few weeks that's just gone on. He had with the stuff with Golden Boy, then Sam, like he's used his powers more. Like it's probably accelerated things a bit in the
yeah.
last month.
And when you consider his dad's probably late 40s, early 50s,
Mm.
and is now at such a serious stage,
Yeah,
if he stops using his powers now, he'll probably be fine.
yeah, yeah. You probably
But
would.
is he going to stop using his powers? No, because they all think they're God's gift to the world.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
so they break out the students from the forest.
Yes. We get the
And
Greg and Bob little running
yeah,
mix-up
I enjoyed
joke.
that.
Uh,
Sam just absolutely eviscerates his face.
yeah, Sam's killed both of Greg and Bob now.
Yes. Well,
Uh,
no, because Bob was killed. No, Greg
that
was killed by Emma
was
because
he?
she climbed into his
Oh,
ear and then
okay.
she
I thought
expanded a
Greg
little
was
bit and
one of
blew
the
his.
ones that went to kill him, and he saw
No, no, that was
puppets.
the person they assume killed that he killed when he was broken out by Sam.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because she said, "Oh, and now Bob hears brains all over the floor," and he's like, "Actually, that's Greg."
yeah, okay.
And
But if
yeah, Emma had like eaten a little bit of, was it his brain or a little bit of food she held on to? I can't remember. And
yeah,
she
I
like
don't know.
blew his brain out from the insides out.
But something to note this time, he doesn't see puppets, which almost
No,
makes
he
you
doesn't.
realize he's more comfortable with what he's doing.
So
I
I
think.
took this as one of two ways. I think it is partially that, but I also think the other times he's seen puppets as when he's been like the only person in the scene other than the person he's seeing as a puppet.
Yeah,
So he's seen puppets on like two occasions, when he went on that murderous rampage
yeah,
and when him and Emma had sex.
yeah,
And in both of them situations, everyone in the scene other than him is a puppet.
yeah.
And I don't know if that was just a choice that they decided not to do puppets because you have Emma and the other people, not Emma,
Okay,
Kate and the other people, or
maybe.
if, like you say, it is a
Yeah,
decision of like he's more comfortable killing people now and not trying to cower away from
possibly.
it.
I lean more to like it's to show those before. It's kind of like the puppet thing happens because he doesn't know how to handle the situation,
Yeah,
essentially. Whereas now he's starting to learn how to handle himself and feeling more confident about being a soup, and is on this like has this ideal now that yeah, soups matter and we should be free and we'll do anything for that.
yeah,
Obviously, then
100%.
it all kicks off.
Yeah, just absolute carnage on campus.
Yeah,
They just it was really interesting at first because you had the first guy who had I'm not quite sure what his abilities were, but we saw him do like a sonic scream, kind of like melting people's skin. But he just walks out and he's like, "Are you a soup? Are you a soup?" And the
yeah,
first person who says, "No, I'm not a soup," fucking beats the shit out of them and
yeah. He's
kills
like,
them.
"Are you a soup?" Well, yeah, it's like Rufus doing a
Yeah,
fucking TikTok dance trend. And then he's like, yeah, of course I'm a soup. We're at the soup high school. What are you on about? And then it's like the first person's like, I'm a teaching assistant. And it's just like, right, melt face. And then everyone, obviously, typical Gen Z fashion, pull the phones on and start recording.
easy there, boomer.
um, and then chaos ensues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meanwhile,
Um,
up in the office,
yeah. So I forget her name now. The new head of
Ashley.
Vought, Ashley, thank you. Has turned up and she's like, "It's chaos, so we need to do what Vought does best and deflect, deflect, deflect. We're picking a new member of the
Well, yeah,
Seven
it's like
right now."
there's a bad name on the school right now. We need to do some press and PR here to protect things. Meanwhile, unaware that the woods
Murderous
people have
rampage
just
is happening.
escaped and it's all starting to kick off. And they're like, right, we're gonna go through. We've got things, and we learn a bit of Andre's stuff. So
Yes.
it's magnetic strength powers. He has a limit of 12 tons. which is a
That's
wild
crazy.
amount of strength.
But how much does a helicopter weigh?
Uh,
Average
it won't be. I'm sure it won't be
helicopter
total. Like private helicopter,
weight. Um,
surely not anything.
I don't. How much is a ton? Is that £1,000?
Yeah,
Okay, so the average is kind of 3.5 to £7,000.
yeah. I reckon they're
Um,
basing the 12 tons off like what his dad can easily do. So they're like, well, he's probably gets to similar that if he really pushed himself.
so a medium helicopter would have a max weight of about £12,500.
Oh, so maybe that's sort of what the weight that Helen is. That's why he struggled a bit.
Yeah, he managed to do it just about.
Yeah.
Um, kind of makes sense. Awesome. At least it shows a little bit of thought went into it.
Yeah. And like, I thought it was interesting. You could pause and you could see on his notes because I saw someone like on social Twitter or whatever was like, uh, potential, but would need to have someone monitor him 24/7 till we can trust him because he might avoid things. I when he ditched on that interview he was meant to go to.
Yeah.
Like Vought pays attention to everything, and they already have that marked down as like a right. Well, we're gonna have to control you more.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's just like that's in Vort's every decision. They will
Hmm.
take a massive risk on a psychopathic killer,
Yeah.
but they will also make sure they know, okay, what do we need to focus on? As great as it sounds, they're doing risk assessments. Like,
Mm.
if you've ever worked in like any kind of business, like you'll remember if anyone ever had to get up on a ladder, there was like two people who were like ladder certified, and there was risk assessments allowing them to get on in ladder. And
Yeah.
that's what Vought are doing with superhumans,
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
which is funny and also absurd all at the same time.
And then I'm trying to think what came. I think obviously more. I think the lockdown gets kicked in.
No, the lockdown doesn't get kicked in just yet. We see the social media guy
Oh yeah, the social media
going
guy who's a fucking
upstairs.
mole for Vought.
Yeah. Um. Well, I mean, we knew he worked for Vought. I don't think we
Yeah,
quite understood
well,
how much he knew.
yeah,
He was
he's
clearly
basically just
quite
been
important.
planted there.
Yeah. So he gets attacked by one of the soups, and he's obviously got the stuff like anti-soup equipment
The
because
Sonic
we've been
shit.
told before they're bad for high
Yeah,
pitch frequencies. So he builds that the fuck up, then blows their head up, which was brutal.
yeah, he puts a little puck in him out and
Yeah. And then Katie appears out of nowhere
mm,
and goes, "Let's start a live stream." Fucking brutal. She makes him blow his own head up while
yeah.
she's live streaming it on Instagram to the world.
Almost
And
feels
then
like
his
a nod to the head popper.
yeah, a little bit. And then his head just, splatters on Ashley's window
Mm,
as they're trying to work out as they've just been told on the phone what's going on.
yeah,
At which point Ashley's like, okay, start calling anyone who might be good enough for the seven. Whoever kills all these fucking psychos gets in.
yeah. Whoever kills
Which is
them,
such a Vought response.
yeah, whoever kills them goes straight into the seven. That's how you get you in. And
And
they,
also call Homelander in case they can't handle this.
yes. Um, and I think yeah, that's when Ashley calls Marie and's like, oh, Vought CEO is like, oh, we're considering you for the seven. You just gotta do, and then all you gotta do is kill all of these psychos. And
Yeah,
Marie's like,
just get rid of them.
like what the fuck? And then, but then she slips in that you'll get a meeting with your sister, and it's like, oh, how much am I willing to actually like? Would I bend the knee here?
Exactly.
That consideration.
At which point I think we then not long after that we get the alarm system put in place.
Yes, it's
Because
either
because
that or
Marie
is
got
it
that
the
phone
Emma
call
bit?
on the way to the office.
Yeah. I can't remember if the bit with Emma and Sam happens before that.
So I think the phone call happens, then the bit with Emma and Sam, and then it's the lockdown.
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
forget now, but
Emma finds Sam about to kill
the director guy.
the director dude, and she's like, "Sam," and he drops it like a bad dog, which is
Yeah.
comedy.
But
Um,
then such my heart for Emma. Like so brutal of Sam.
yeah, she's genuinely just trying to be helpful and nice and explain that he doesn't actually want to do this, which we know he doesn't based on his
Yeah.
hallucinations.
Yeah, seeing Golden Boy
Um,
and stuff.
but he's just so he needs a lot of therapy.
Yes.
He needs so much therapy. And he just wasn't going to get it in time for all of these murders because
No.
Vought were more interested in using him to make other heroes stronger.
Yeah. It's
Um,
just unfortunately one of those situations where Emma's knows what's best for him, and kind of deep down he's sort of can know that, but he's like too strongly conflicted the other way.
yeah, I think the big internal fight for Sam is he does genuinely believe Emma wants what's best for him,
Hmm.
but he's also probably been told by the sick fucks experimenting on him,
They
shut
won't.
up, do as you're told, we know what's best for you.
Yeah. It's
So
that.
he's like, every other person I've ever trusted who said they know what's best for me has ended up hurting me.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna let anyone hurt me again.
Yeah. And then he lays into Emma a bit as well, which is like, oh, harsh.
Yeah. And then we get, which is a crazy reveal, Emma breaks down crying and she
Yeah.
shrinks.
Which even confuses her, I feel.
Yeah. Because she did it really quickly, really smoothly, whereas normally for her it's quite juddery because she's having to
Yeah.
force herself to throw up. And yeah, she's really confused. She's just kind of looking around with all of her clothes being really baggy on her, like,
It's like,
the fuck?
how, yeah, she's now unlocked a new way to change size, which then makes me think it's like, if crying makes her small, what makes her large?
Well, it can't just be crying because she will have cried before.
Well,
It's got to be an emotional thing. Like,
yeah,
did he make her emotionally feel small? So now she's shrinking. So to
maybe.
make her big, so you got to have like a hype person there. It's like,
Just a
let's
hype man behind with
go.
a mic following around.
Yeah, just bigging up her ego until she grows. I don't know. Um, and that was the
Uh,
last we actually saw of Emma in the episode. We didn't see her again
yes,
after
we
that.
didn't. We
Oh
saw,
no, we did.
well,
We did
right at the end, but
right at the very end.
we see Sam struggling a bit, and Kate says, well, do you want me to make you feel better? Make like you
Yeah.
feel nothing. To which I was so worried. I thought she was going to make him feel nothing, and then he was just going to go, oh, I don't care about any of this, and just fucking just leave. Just like disappear.
That would have been very funny.
If he was like,
Um,
oh, I don't have any hate or anger.
I feel literally nothing about anything. Do you know what I feel? Hungry.
Yeah, see you later, and
Punching people's heads off is quite tiring.
just jumped away. But then we got the lockdown, yeah, like you say, which
Yeah,
was very brief. You think,
yeah.
lockdown's come into effect. It's fine.
It once again shows how much thought Vought put into everything, though, because one of the big
Mm,
parts of the lockdown was that high pitched frequency all over the campus, which she just had everyone just like, apart from the humans who were like,
yeah.
heh.
Uh,
But
but
then
what?
you had one of the gentlemen from the woods use his shrinking
Yes,
ability to destroy the PA system.
yeah. And then it's like, we didn't think about that.
We didn't think that they have superpowers they could use to shut off the system.
And then yeah, even more full chaos then, and that's when we get Andre rocks up.
Yeah,
Um,
stops the helicopter from crashing.
yeah, then him and Marie, and then Kate sets Maverick on Marie.
Yeah, which I never even twigged that he's Translucent's kid until they were talking about him in the Who Should Join the Seven meeting.
Yes, it hadn't really. I just thought it was another like.
What I will say, take from it what you want.
Mm,
Every person so far who
yeah.
has had similar powers has been related.
Yes.
And this is something that, I mean, we get two examples of it in this episode with
Mm-hmm.
Andre and Maverick.
Yep.
And the only other person that exists with powers similar to Marie's is the head popper stateswoman, Newman. Are we going to find out they're actually related?
I don't think so. I think pure. It's just kind of pure luck. Maybe to throw you off a bit. I also something to
It's
note.
just such a recurring theme that I'm a bit
Yeah,
curious.
it's an interesting one because you also got to remember like the only other time we've seen someone with the same powers as their parent was Homelander's son, but
Yeah,
that son is an actual born soup.
yeah.
But as far as we're aware, that's like the one situation of that. Does that mean like
I
Andre
actually
and Maverick?
don't.
It wouldn't surprise me if they were just babies and their parents pumped them with V. Part of Vought being like, well, you've got to keep the brand going. You've got to have
Yeah,
this like pass it on sort of thing. It's good for the brand. So
and
they,
you know they're going to have a really good chance of being a success here at Vault because they're a
yeah,
people love legacy
yeah,
characters
it's all
apart from Miles
marketing.
Morales.
Um, and it's obviously something genetic based.
Yeah,
That is why they're getting same powers. Um, it'll be
I
interesting because didn't Head Popper inject her daughter
maybe I believe so.
back in the boys, which then could mean she has blood powers as well.
You've watched The Boys more recently than me,
Yeah,
Harry.
I'm
I'm
trying to
relying on you
remember.
here.
I'm pretty sure she did, but we don't know what happened to that daughter.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. It was just something I thought was worth
Yeah.
mentioning because there is a habit of people with similar powers ending up being related.
Mm.
So we shall see, I guess.
I
Um,
thought it was very cool that how Marie defeated Maverick. I was like, she's
yes,
obviously going to just sense where he is. Wasn't actually quite expecting to like see the full.
the visualization of it to kind
Mm,
of give us an idea of what her powers are like for her, but
yes,
also
to help
just
us
so
see
that we
where.
had a better idea of what was going on was really fucking cool.
Can we also point out that both Maverick and his dad both got beaten because of blood,
Yeah.
but just spat blood on his dad so he could see him. Marie just saw his blood. So
The
biggest weakness.
the parallels that the boys continues to
Mm,
create are it's very enjoyable and I enjoy when shows create parallels. Now, what I will say is very, very interesting.
okay.
Um so we after that we see Jordan get dogpiled by three
Yes.
and like he's
Soups.
basically close to dying. So Marie's
Yeah.
like, I have to do something to help. And she gives one of the people a heart attack essentially. Just like straight up stops her heart where she stands.
Yeah.
Does that mean that Newman has been choosing to blow people's heads up for the
Shock
snazziness of
factor.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because every time she's blown someone's head up and created this massive mess, we now know she could have just, like we were saying,
Mm.
given them a brain aneurysm or stopped their
Blood clot
heart.
or yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
she's
Well,
choosing to actively blow their fucking brains everywhere.
it's
That's
it
psychotic.
well, you got to remember though when she was first like appearing before we knew who was doing it.
Yeah.
It was causing confusion, and when it happened in the courtroom and all the heads were like it was just causing like mad confusion. Whereas if people just started having heart attacks, it'd be like, yeah, but you're not
Um,
wrong. Like I also think that's partly as well Marie not fully having a grasp on what she can control properly. She
yeah.
just sort of thought like was just trying to stop that person and giving her a heart attack is what happened.
Yeah. And then one of the other people, while trying to escape Marie, starts running towards the helicopter where the
Mm,
board of directors are hiding.
that's
And we
when,
get the scene that you have been calling for
yeah,
since the second we started to understand Marie's powers.
it's like, oh, there's all these dead bodies around. Full ammunition to use blood at full strength and not worry about making herself lightheaded. And yeah, she just flurry of daggers.
It was fucking awesome.
It was very cool.
At which point Jordan starts to get up, and I'll be honest, it made me a little bit uncomfortable because I get they like each other and I get they know they're working together and they're doing what they have to do.
Mm.
But no matter how much I understand what someone has to do, I don't know if after seeing the person I like and I want to kind of date, brutally murder a couple of people, I'm not sure I'd be like that happy and smiley.
Well,
No, I wouldn't hold it against them because I understand she was saving my life and like doing what was probably right. But I'm not sure I'd be like, that was dope.
yeah, but you've also got to remember Jordan's just craved like people like accepting them or wanting them.
True.
So in a way, that's Marie showing that she cares and so I don't know.
So
But yeah, then you
did
get Kate reaches for
yeah. So when you see her, like, it goes to slow mo, her start to reach out to Jordan, you're like, oh no, fuck, is Marie gonna have to kill Jordan? Because that was
yeah,
my concern.
yeah. I was like, oh shit, we're gonna have Jordan and Marie fight, and that's gonna be. I was like, Marie's just like Marie will kill him. I was like, this is gonna be the line Marie crosses to do whatever it takes,
Yeah,
and then she's gonna
and
become
then
the
it's
Vought. Mm. But no, she blows off Kate's arm.
that was fucking visceral, by the way. Like, I shit you not. So, I was running a bit late this week. Like I said, the week kind of flew by. So I was
Mm.
watching Jenny and Invincible tonight while I was doing my notes. So I'm
Mhm.
sat here typing, watching it like this, and then I see her arm explode. And I go like that, like the most YouTuber reaction I might have ever unironically done. I was like, oh shit, couldn't believe it.
Oh no,
Very,
yeah, it was,
very,
and
very
then the
cool.
like Kate's realization is just starts screaming, and then Homelander appears.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not
Homelander
surprised
arrives.
we finally got the cameo.
Yeah. I was really curious how shit was going to go down when he arrived. I knew he wasn't going to be there for long because they don't want to waste Homelander time on a spin
No.
off. They just wanted to use it to set up season 4 of The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he kind of looks at Marie with such disgust,
Well,
and he's like,
yeah,
how could you do this to your own kind? What kind of an animal are you? I was like, oh shit.
and he does the finger wag that he loves to do,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, Homelander's not gonna be here to save the day.
Yeah.
It's that realization of he's Vort's thing, and they're gonna want to cover this up.
But it's not just that as well. He is also, while he acts in his best interest,
Yeah.
and his best interest is Vought not going under right now, and he
Mm.
needs all of the right wing, like, soups don't kill people, people kill people bullshit. Because like all the conversation around soup control is literally like the gun control argument.
Mm.
So he needs like the idea of God fearing American soups are a good thing. It's all these foreign soups that are a problem.
Well, yeah, it's also like he'll understand that however this spins, probably is going to bump them up to be on the 7, and he wants to control who's on that team, and he wants people that aren't potentially going to be willing to turn on each other.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants people that are sort of all of the same mindset that soups are the best. So he
So
blasts
we
Marie.
see, yeah, we see Zai start to light up as he's pointing at Marie, and then it just cuts to black. And I genuinely thought the show was just going to end there. I genuinely thought, as it cut to black, that was going to be like endless season, see you in the boys.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, yeah, the Family Guy gif of, I want it now, and Peter just destroying the front room.
No, yeah, I was like, oh shit, I was like, no way they've just killed them, or just killed Marie like that. And then also, but then it's like, obviously, then it cuts to
the news feed.
The news feed that Kate and Sam saved the day.
The new Guardians of Godolkin saving
Yeah.
everyone from the 4 psychos.
And then those 4 wake up in a cell on hospital beds, and the only door is a hatch in the roof. It's a very similar to cell to what Maeve was kept in.
Yeah.
So most likely is in the basement of Vought Tower.
Almost certainly.
And we have no idea how they ended up there. I have a theory.
Okay.
Last time they blacked out and woke up, it was Kate. What if in Kate's pain and as Homelander, she just basically made them all go to sleep? Like the dream
Maybe.
situation. So then that way Homelander didn't like full on like just eviscerate her, but then obviously all of them got taken away.
I don't know. I think the way Andre said it, I think Marie fully did just tank
Maybe.
Homelander's hit. And then everyone else has gone, fuck it, I don't want that smoke. Because they all seem like they know what's happened, even though they haven't told Marie yet.
True.
I think they've then kind of been taken up by Vought Security, the 7, whoever. And they're kind of like,
Do you know
okay,
what
we'll
I
work out
bet
how this goes.
happened is that went down and they were like, okay. And then they all vote was like, right, we need to take you all in to like, this needs to be settled. And then basically they took him in on the precedent that like, we're figuring out what the fuck just happened. And then they actually just chucked him in a cell and ran their own version of events because of what they wanted.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'll be honest, in the chaos of that ending, I forgot this was the final episode. And I was like, it obviously went to credits, and we got like the post credit extra little snippet, but we'll
Yeah.
get to. But I was like, I need the next episode, and I was like, wait, there is no more episodes. No,
This is it.
this isn't fair. But we get Butcher
Yeah. We
in
get
the.
Butcher walks into some kind of underground cell, which I assume is the woods.
Well, yeah, it was the woods abandoned.
Yeah. And he just kind of goes, what a bunch of cats.
Yeah,
Cut to black.
which I
I
think.
also loved the use of music at the end of it.
Mm,
Like the way they were using the music in that cut, and then it just cut straight back into the music after that post credit scene was very, very well
yeah,
done.
I think that answers the question that he definitely was on the phone of the CIA agent woman.
Yeah.
And is obviously going to be investigating into things. I think the woods is kind of like shut down because they're not going to risk doing it under the school now.
Yeah, they've realised that that was a bad idea.
I think, obviously, we know season 4 of The Boys is going to lead straight on from this.
Yeah, it takes place about a month after the end of Gen V, we've been told.
Oh, I thought it was like a few days.
No,
I
it was
saw.
rumored to be. It was rumored to only be a couple of days, but apparently it's a few.
Oh,
months.
okay. So we know things are going to continue. Obviously, we know Gen V is getting another season. I reckon Gen V season 2, the school's back, rebranded, same school, not doing shit underneath it, but rebranded, and Vought is now like fully to try and be like, no, this is a reputable school still. We've fixed things. Vought themselves will say this is now run by us. And people are like, oh, great. And it'll be a lot more like getting people in control of into the Vought wheel of things.
Yeah.
Quicker.
Instead of hiding it as a university, they would turn it into like an academy for Vought.
Yes.
To make it make a bit more sense, I think. Phenomenal series though.
Oh,
Might be one of the best superhero shows available.
Yeah. I think also like one of the best spin-off shows from like a main series.
I can't think of many shows that have had such a well put together spin-off.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got to remember, as far as I know, again, I've not read the Boys comics. As far as I know, this is completely original.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
As far as I know, like there was no like Gen V comic or anything.
Yeah.
There might have been references to a Godolkin University in the comics.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was any other major stories about it. So I think all of these characters and this story is completely original from the creators as a direct spin-off of their adaptation of The Boys. So it really shows that they've got some good fresh ideas for this universe that can definitely work in the long run.
Oh yeah. Very much excited to see where The Boys goes and where Gen V season 2 goes.
100%.